All right, good morning. If you guys are just tuning in or you watched yesterday, so we went all the way from Kanos to Crushbone. This is a permadeath run where we cannot trade with players, SSF, solo self-found only. We came here mostly to get these brass earrings from the Orc Taskmaster, so I camped him more or less all day. It's kind of a single spawn. There's like 3 mobs that you could kill. So it wasn't incredibly EXP or anything, but I got the earrings for 4 more AC, which is pretty nice. Hey, good morning, dude. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll stream like all day today. The wife's out, so it should be good. But I found this really great quest. I guess, you know, if you're normally playing, it's not super great, but given my circumstances, it's really great. I've linked it in the chat here. Basically, I found out that you could trade these brass earrings in to a high elf male slave in Crushbone, and he'll give you a note. If you take that note back to Felwith and turn it into one of the guards there, they will give you +2 strength rings, which you guys will know is a huge win for us because we really struggle with the jewelry items. So yesterday we gained 4 AC, 4 strength, and we picked up a shiny brass shield while we were hanging out. That's in case I ever want to switch from the Shield of Knife, which in this case I do, for the 10 magic resist. I'll have to check that out, Bull. Do you know the name of the earrings? Is it the Karanis Tear? Yeah, okay. So I'm not high enough level to do that yet, but I will definitely hit it up once I get in that range. Right now, stamina is really weird for my character. Like, the Shield of Knife gives me 1 stamina, and when I equip it, it only adds 1 HP from that stamina. So it's not an incredible benefit to me. But I assume that as I level up, the stamina will become a greater factor. So we just logged in. When you log in, it puts you in the base pick, which tends to be the most populous of the pick zones. So we're probably going to have to pick over. See what some of the other Crushbone zones have. Oh boy, it's not looking good. We'll check it out. I'm a Paladin, so I'll save this guy's life. Yeah, dude, I understand why they put pick zones in, but I do think that there is a big negative to pick zones. The big negative is that it turns Everquest into Guck Quest, Crushbone Quest, you know what I mean? Everyone just goes to the most optimal zones, and zones that were not super great before, but were still fun to play in and were like great to explore, now sit empty 24/7, like Gorge of King's Orb, Runny Eye. Until this server, Solosec A was pretty much always empty. And I think that takes a little bit of the EverQuest out of it, so to speak. So lately, one of my go-to EXP spots in here has been like this little path here. I can pull things out with lull. There's like 2 or 3 mobs I can solo. They tend to be higher level. We'll do the ultimate risk. See if the throne room's open. It's not, naturally. So my first time playing EQ, one of my original characters, I fell in this pool, and I could never get out. Retired the character right there. You know, back then, like, swimming was really difficult, like, your directions and stuff. I remember, like, looking it up, and it said, like, press page up to swim. I think that maybe a good compromise, right? Yeah, dude, swimming was hard because, you know, back in the day, the mouse controls were not as good. You couldn't, like, right click and left click and rotate like this. Like, you can't do this in 1999. This whole number right here. This was a lot harder. It doesn't help that you were probably, like, blind as well. I think a good compromise for the pick zone issue would be if they said, okay, we're gonna do pick zones, newbie zones, like the first 10 level kind of zones, like Greater Fate Arc, North Kanos, West Freeport, would have infinite pick zones, right? As many as the player population would support. But then all other zones would only have like a set number. Like, okay, there's only going to be 2 picks maximum of Crushbone. There's only going to be 2 picks maximum of Guck. So that way it supports a larger population, but it doesn't say the entire server can level up in this one zone if they so choose. I've always kind of liked that the mobs that are at the entrance of Crushbone outside are a little bit stronger than the ones you find right on the inside of Crushbone. It kind of makes sense, like, if you were a society, you wouldn't put literally your weakest people out. Like, most organizations in EverQuest work like the opposite of real life. Like, their weakest recruits are at the, like, borders of their empire where their most aggressive threats are. Or, you know, to some extent, a little bit are. Like, you have pawns underneath Kelethin and stuff, but... And I understand, you know, video game perspective and all. It has to be that way, basically. We have Holy Armor now, which gives us, like, a +9 AC or something. 6, 9, something like that. I think it's a level 1 cleric spell. But we'll take what we can get. So I turned in a ton of Crushbone belts and Legionnaire shoulder pads, and unfortunately that quest has been nerfed like many of the others. Quest EXP just sucks on these servers. I understand them nerfing Quest EXP, but I think it would have been better if they had only nerfed Quest XP for items that stack. Whereas like Crushbone belts, you know what I mean? You can't turn in 1,000 Crushbone belts at once. You can only ever turn in 4. You can only ever hold so many on your character, so you can't really abuse it as much as like Fire Beetle Eyes or Bone Chips, where you could literally turn in 4,000 Bone Chips at a time. I remember back in the day when the quest was good, you used to be able to sell these belts for 1 PP per belt all day. 5 plat per shoulder. We're in a pretty good spot strength-wise, though. When we cast Yelp, we now have 109 strength. Feels good. I've been thinking about going to Unrest, but man, you just know how dangerous it is, so... I need to go buy Ward Undead if we're gonna go do that. Probably Felwith will have it. Alright, so we'll swing by Unrest, and when we're there, I'll talk about the Unrest lore. I've never really messed around in Lesser Fate Arc as like an EXP zone, but I assume it would be a bad idea, just because of the brownies and stuff that could roll up and just kill me. I wonder if Steamfont Mountains would be good. I could do like the Minotaur Caves. You know, I was so last night, every Friday, some of my friends, they do what they call like drunken raid night. They don't really raid anymore, but they all get together in a voice chat and they drink and they play EQ. And I was in there with them, and I was just streaming my solo gameplay in like a private Discord chat. But I was watching some of the Twitch channels for EQ, and I noticed that, like, man, every one of the top streamers last night seemed to be in Unrest. It was like the place to be. And that's where my buddies ultimately went while I was soloing in Crushbone. I've got a really good old screenshot I'm trying to find that illustrates why TLP has nerfed all the quests, the EXP quests. I'm gonna have to like pull it off our old website. Unrest can take me at least to like the mid 30s, if not further, but it just gets riskier and riskier. Like once we start dealing with undead hags, super dangerous. And then of course the ghouls can root me, which will be a huge problem. Alright, so she sells paladin spells, but they don't have ward undead on her, so it must be one of the cleric NPCs. That's a good screenshot. That's part of the reason that these nerfs to EXP quests happen. Those are all fire beetle eyes. You can turn those in for EXP in Freeport. It used to be like, you know, fire beetle eyes didn't stack, or if they did, they stacked only to 20 at cap. But they changed something recently. Well, I guess 3 or 4 years ago now, they changed things so that most trivial items, like old school items, will stack to 1,000. Fire beetle eyes and bone chips happen to be one of those items. So you could hand in 1,000 fire beetle eyes at a time. So one of my plans was to hand in like 80,000 fire beetle eyes the moment Kunark launched and see how many levels we got. Man, why did Ward Undead get nerfed? Or was it always a maximum of 12? No, Ward Undead used to hit for 41 damage. Now it's terrible. IVU is going to be a big one. So I learned some more details about the Deepwater Harpoon or Deepwater Spear quest, and I think as soon as I hit 17 and I get IVU, we might give it a shot. Hey Zero. I'm glad that I'm glad that you're enjoying the stream, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, there's some areas that that just do not have good fire beetle populations. It's weird. Like most newbie zones do, but there's definitely a few where you got to put some travel time in. So there used to be this awesome quest called the Thex Dagger. It got removed really shortly after launch, so most people don't know about it, and most people's experience with it comes from P99. But you used to be able to talk to this guy and spawn an NPC upstairs. You would turn in some items from High Keep, and he would give you this dagger that had like plus 50 poison resist. Or, sorry, disease resist. It was really great. I think it's Where is Tolan Nurbite? See, the quest elements of this quest are still in. So you are inquiring about Mr. Tolan Nurbite, eh? He's on the second floor, last door on the right. You two had best not be up to any mischief. The pair of you look a little shifty for the kingdom of Felwith. So you guys notice I just checked this room a second ago and there's no one in there. Now we've got Tolan. So Tolan is part of the Silent Watch. It's like the CIA of the kingdom of Felwith. They do like the dirty work so that, you know, Felwith can maintain its pristine appearance. Today is the last day I need to stream to gain affiliate status. Like technically, I think I could stop this stream right now, and then start another stream, and it would hit my 7 out of 7 days streamed, and I would become an affiliate. I don't really know how it works though. So Mr. Tolan Nurbite is not happy that we rolled in. Didn't your mother teach you not to walk in other people's rooms without knocking? You didn't even have the courtesy to close the door behind you. Sir, the door is closed. Alright, we'll get out of here because we can't do the quest anymore. But it used to be that there was a guy, I forget his name off the top of my head, but he was in Highkeep near the entrance, and he was looking for Princess Lenya, who had been abducted during a trip to Highkeep. You can find her in the 3rd floor behind a hidden walkway in Highkeep, guarded by a dark elf named, was it Dirnalith? No, it's Tyrannoslil. So you can find her there, and then you know, there's like a little back and forth kind of bracer quest, and that rescues her, and then you take an item from him to verify that, you know, you did the good deed, and you give it to Mr. Tolan Nurbite, and he rewards you as a member of the Silent Watch. Elements of that quest have been replaced by the Shield of the Silent Watch quest, if you guys want to check that out on Alice sometimes. But that's a much longer quest now. It's the one where you know, she has been transformed into a fish in the middle of like Wrath, and you've got to get some items to give to her to transform her back into a high elf. So a bit different of an experience now. But I always thought it was cool because it gave you this sneak peek into what was going on at Highkeep. Like on the surface, Highkeep seems like a legit normal city, but underneath there's all these weird dealings going on with the Dark Elves and some other factions there. So last night while I was running around in Crushbone, I saw this Orc Legionnaire. Yeah, that is Chrono Trigger music. Hope you enjoy it. I like to play like old school Super Nintendo or like Game Boy kind of soundtracks in the background. They tend to be like nice and chill background music, and we're all playing this for nostalgia, so I figure it fits right in. Unfortunately, Sethric, only shamans can do alchemy. It's like tinkering. It's like very restrictive. So to do alchemy, you must be a shaman and you must be level 20 or higher. Otherwise, I would definitely do it because it would be really powerful. There's all sorts of crazy potions you can make. I think I've got like 6 or 8 light healing potions that I farmed from the Putrid Ribbone quest back in the like the first few days of this stream. So those will come in handy later. I think level 35 is going to be our first big, if I make level 35, it's going to be our first big milestone for challenging solo attempt. I'm going to try to solo the Shin Lord and get that Ghoulbane. Because you can only rock the Shining Star of Light for so long. Yep, I'm excited to try it. We're going to be using all those light healing potions we farm up and stuff, pulling out all the stops. Now, I heard one of my buddies attempted to solo him on a level 30 Paladin and said that he would have won were it not for the healers in the room healing the Shin Lord. So I'm thinking I'll just have to do some kind of pull shenanigans to get him far enough away that he's not getting healed. And we'll follow that up by hoping really hard that we win. But yeah, my buddy who was going to beat him, he's a level 30 Paladin, but he had a Mithril two-handed sword, so obviously he was putting out way more DPS than we will. But otherwise, he's not really twinked, he said, so he wasn't much more tanky than we'll be. So while we run through Butcher Block, we'll see about this affiliate thing. I'll stop the stream really quick, just so it triggers that achievement, and then I'll bounce back up in like 1 second. But when we return, we'll be continuing our trip to Mistmoor. We'll see if we can kill some undead without dying on this Permadeath Paladin, and we'll go over the lore of Mistmoor. So I'll be right back.